Myself, Divyesh Divakar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Kendra Engineering College. I am here to give you insight on microcontroller multiple choice questions, which may help you for diploma common entrance test. So, let me start explaining my set of MCQs. The first question is to find illegal instructions. The four options: move R1, #50H looks legal to me because R1 exists. #50H is immediate addressing mode with 50H value moving to R1. Then I have move A, #255, where 255 is a decimal number which is equivalent to FF hexadecimal, which is maximum 8-bit number which I can have, so that is also legal. Next is add A, B. So addition should be performed with accumulator and source can be B register, so that is also legal. So the answer here should be D. The reason is #40H is 8-bit number. It can be moved to an 8-bit register, but here it is given as R9 is the destination, but there is no such register in 8051. So for such questions you have to thoroughly check the syntax of the given instructions. Also you have to check whether the given registers exist. You have to be very careful about 8-bit values, 8-bit registers, 16-bit values, 16-bit registers, etc. So as I explained, general purpose registers are only from R0 to R7. There are 4 register banks in internal RAM of 8051 and each register bank has 8 registers, namely R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7. So there is no R9 register. So that's why our answer is D. Coming to next question, you are asked to write what is a nibble. So it's well known that a nibble is 4 bits. So this is from definition. So if we have an 8-bit number, just for an example, 0101 1110, then the lower 4-bit is known as lower nibble and upper 4 bits is known as upper nibble. So an 8-bit number can be divided into two nibbles, where each nibble is 4 bits. So next you are asked to write an example for 16-bit register. So from the given options you should be able to identify which is the 16-bit register in 8051 microcontroller. Here we have option A as accumulator. Accumulator is 8-bit register which is extensively used for arithmetic operations. So usually most of us will be thorough with it. Then we have stack pointer. Stack pointer is used to point to stack or internal RAM. Then we have program status word. Program status word is an 8-bit status register which is thoroughly checked during arithmetic operation. So here answer should be program counter, because program counter is a 16-bit register which is designed to hold address of next instruction to be executed. And we know that the memory of 8051 is stacked with addresses 000H. So it starts from 000H, right, and it extends. So usually the addresses are 16 bits. 001H. This is 16 bit. That is, this is in hexadecimal. So if I write it in binary, it is 16 bit. 000 represents 0. Then again I have 000 representing next to 0 in hexadecimal. Then I have 000 representing next to 0. Then I have 0001 representing 1. So this is totally 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, total 16. So the addresses of memory in 8051 is 16 bit wide. So to hold that address we need a 16 bit register. So program counter is the answer. Next, PSW, or nothing but program status word, supplies information about what? Whether it gives you any information about instruction register contents, accumulator content, flag status, or both accumulator content and flag status is the question. So to answer this, you should be thorough about program status word. So a program status word structure is given here. So program status word is 8-bit wide register whose highest bit is carry flag and lowest bit is a parity flag. Then you have auxiliary carry, register select, bits, overflow flag. Bit number 5 is F0 and bit number 1 is F1. So both are user flags which are left free for now and which can be used by the user if required in future. So here RS1 and RS0 is used for register select. So as I told you in your first slide, there are 4 register banks and each register bank has 8 registers. So it is necessary to select the register bank if required. So if you give 00 here, register bank 0 will be selected. If you give 01 here, register bank 1 will be selected. Accordingly, 10 register bank 2 will be selected and 11 register bank 3 will be selected. So carry flag, auxiliary carry and overflow flag and parity flag, these are the flags affected by arithmetic operation. So these bits gives me flag status. So this is true. Next, it gives me idea of accumulator content because checking the parity flag, checking the auxiliary carry, I'll come to know, and checking the carry flag also, I'll come to know whether the content of accumulator is required content or not. So here answer is D. So I also want to add that you have to be very thorough about this register program status word before appearing for your exam. So my next question is very straightforward. You are asked to find what is 1 kilobyte. We talked that 8 bits has 2 nibbles. Then we have 16 bits, 32 bits, that way. You are asked to find what is 1 kilobyte. So answer is B. 1 kilobyte will be 1024 bytes. So the reason is, we know that 1 byte is 8 bits, that is 2 power 3. Right? So 1 kilobyte will be nearly 2 power 10. Okay? So 2 power 10. So that is nothing but 1024. So this is already discussed. The question can be put it in this form also. You need to find the address of the instruction to be executed next is stored in which register. So in the option they may give you short forms of the registers. So you should be thorough with the short forms of the register. SP stands for stack pointer, PC stands for program counter. Then you have B register, then arithmetic logic unit, that is ALU. So as discussed, the answer will be program counter. So it is a 16-bit register which will store the next instruction to be executed. So my next question, we'll check your knowledge on serial data transmission. So in serial data transmission using 8051, what does baud rate means is the question. So here the answer is A. Baud rate is defined as rate of transfer of serial data, right? So it is stated in bits per second or BPS. So 1 bit per second is baud rate. Next question is, which instruction should be adopted for moving an accumulator to register from these many instructions? You just need to identify which general instruction given here will help you in moving accumulator to some register. So this is just to check whether you have a good idea of source and destination in mnemonics. So move A, Rn will put what is the content of Rn to accumulator. Move A, at the rate of Ri will put indirectly the value of Ri to A. In the sense, Ri will have some value, that is the address of actual value. That value to which the address is pointing will be moved to accumulator. Then you have move Rn, A, the content of accumulator will be pushed to register. Then actually copied to register. Then move direct, A, here the content of accumulator will be moved to some address, direct address. So here answer is C, because here the content of accumulator will be moved to register. So that is the question. So the basic instruction syntax of 8051 is move destination, source. The instruction CLR-C, that is clear C, is an example for which addressing mode? To answer such questions, you should be thorough with all the addressing modes. So here, clear C will be an example for bit inherent addressing. So in such kind of addressing, the address of the flag which contains the operand is directly mentioned in the opcode. In the sense, here C is a carry flag, and this carry flag is inside another register. So it is inherent part of already existing register, but you are directly addressing that bit, and that bit is part of 8051 register. In such cases, we call it as bit inherent addressing. If the operand here, that is the bit here, is inherent part of any register of 8051, and if you are directly representing it along with the opcode, then we call it as bit inherent addressing. So remember that carry flag was highest order bit in program status word. So next question is to check your ability to remember internal RAM addresses. So the question is, in bit direct addressing, where are the bit values? Bit values are between which internal memory addresses? 20H to 2FH, 00H to FFH, 00H to 1FH, and 00H to 7FH. So the answer is D, that is 00H to 75H. Okay, so bit direct addressing it is. So RAM space 20H to 2FH, and most of the SFR are bit addressable. So bit address values are between 00 and 7FH. So this question may be little confusing. So the question is, you need to find bit direct addressing. What are the bit values? So they didn't ask you bit direct addresses. Okay, bit direct addresses. So if it is bit direct addresses, the answer would have been A. That is, in your internal RAM, up to after 1F, up to 1F you have general purpose registers. So above 1F you have 20. So from 20 to 2F you have bit addressable space. But here question is, in bit direct addressing, bit values are between. So in this area, okay, so bit values will be, this will be 0 0, this will be 0 1. That way if you count, the bit value starts from 0 0 and ends at 7. Yep. Total these many bit address space is available in the memory 2022. So to be very careful while answering such questions. You have to read the question twice. So you should not jump into conclusion that answer is A. Bit addressable area. They did not ask you bit addressable area of internal RAM. They asked you in bit addressing area, what are the bit values? So bit values are from 0 0, then 0 1, then 0 2, then 0 3, this way. Up to 2F if you count, you will get 7F. So this is 7F. So this will be 7E. Okay, this will be 7D that way. Okay, so total 8 bit values you will have in each number. So 8 bit values in 20, 8 bit values in 21, 8 bit values in 22, like that up to 2F. So next question is, if stack pointer is 0 1H presently, then after push operation what will be the content of stack pointer? So the square bracket indicates content of stack pointer. Okay, so initially the content of stack pointer is 0 1H. So after push operation, what will be the content of stack pointer? So this is to check whether you know push and pop operation thoroughly. So the answer here will be B. So the reason is, push operation will first increment the value of stack pointer by 1. Okay, so the answer becomes 0 1H is incremented by 1. So stack pointer now becomes 0 2H. So that is the question. But I have given you additional information here. So whenever a push operation is executed, stack pointer will be incremented by 1. So 0 1H will become 0 2H. So that is your answer here. And the additional information is that it takes the value stored in address where the stack pointer is pointing and store it to the internal RAM at the location pointed to by incremented stack pointer. Okay, so if you write push 02, or I'll take push 07, it will first increment stack pointer. So now stack pointer was 01. So this will be incremented to 02. Then it will take the content of 07H. So in the memory, so this is 07H somewhere here. I have some value here, maybe 43H. Okay, this 43H will be taken from here and it will push to the memory, that is 02H. So somewhere here. So 02H. It will be pushed to the address pointing now by stack pointer. So 43H will be pushed to here. So that is the working of push operation. Next question is, the logical instruction that affects the carry flag during its execution. So you have 4 logical instructions. Out of this, you have to find which will affect the carry flag. So carry flag is in PSW. So you have to select one instruction which affects this. So you have XRLA, which is XOR logic operation, ANLA, which is AND logic operation. Then you have ORL, which is OR logic operation. Then you have RLC, which is rotate left with the carry. So from the instruction, it is explicitly clear that answer is option D. Because when you rotate left through carry flag, the content of accumulator will be transferred to carry flag. So MSB of accumulator will rotate through carry flag. So if carry flag was a 0 and MSB was 1, after the rotation, carry flag will have a value 1. So carry flag will be altered. auxiliary carry is set during which condition? So you have to understand that auxiliary carry is usually set only during addition operation or subtraction operation only, and this has something to do with nibble. So our second question was on nibble, right? One nibble is 4 bits. So that is a hint for the question. So when the auxiliary carry will be set? So answer is A, when carry is generated from D3 to D4, because when carry is there from lower nibble to upper nibble. So consider this as an 8-bit register. So this is D7, so D6, D5, D4, D3, D2, D1 and D0. This is my lower nibble and this is my upper nibble. So this is D0, this is D1, this is D2 and this is D3, and obviously this will be my D4. So whenever there is a carry from D3 to D4 or lower nibble to upper nibble, then auxiliary carry will be set. So this, what you have to remember is, if there is another question on this, when will be the auxiliary carry set? You should know that that will be set only during an addition operation or subtraction operation. Next question is on auto reload mode. So this is regarding the timer. So you have to recollect timers of 8051 to answer this question. So auto reload mode is in which mode of the timer? So answer is C, that is mode 2. So in mode 2, the operation goes like this, referring the figure. So whatever the value you need, that value will be fed into TH, the higher order 8 bits of timer. It can be timer 0 or timer 1. So higher order 8 bits will be stored with initial value of the count. Count can start from 0h or it can start from 07h, whatever. So that initial value will be storing here, and whenever it receives a pulse input, that initial value will be sent to TL, that is lower 8 bits. So mode 2 is basically 8-bit timer, that is it can count only from maximum from 00h to FFH. So when it finish counting FFH, there will be an overflow. This is timer overflow flag. There will be overflow generated, and whenever overflow is generated, you will give a reload signal. So whatever the initial value you have saved here, that will go again to TLX. So this gives you an automated feeling. That is, the whatever value you have in THX, which you have initially loaded, higher order timer, that will automatically load into the lower order timer whenever this lower timer overloads. Okay, overflows. That is, whenever this goes from FF to count FF. After FF, it will overload and will go to this count or any value which you have saved here. So next question is again on timer. So if timer 0 is to be used as a counter, then at what particular pin clock pulse need to be applied? So for this you have to know two things. One is the pin diagram of 8051 should be thorough, and the next is you should know that a timer can be operated as a counter in 8051. So here answer is B. You can directly answer this if you are thorough with the pin number. So port 3, fourth pin, act as an input for clock pulse. Okay, whenever timer 0 is acting as a counter. The data type used in 8051C. So my next set of question is based on C programming in 8051, or we call it as 8051C. So the data type which can be used to initialize carry flag in 8051C is the question. So for this you should know all the available data types of 8051C. C. So in this question, you have bit, S bit and SFR. So you should be very careful while choosing the answer. Here the answer will be B, that is S bit. S bit stands for single bit. Since you are going to initialize carry flag is MSB of PSW. So it's a single bit. Carry flag is single bit. So you have to use S bit. So S bit is generally used for accessing single bits of SFR register, that you have to remember. So any special function register, if you want to access a bit of that register, then you have to use S bit in 8051C. Keep this in your mind. Now there is integer data type in 8051C. My question is, what is the range of it? Whether it is option A, option B, option C or option D. So how will we know that? You can remember this value, that is absolutely fine. But you should understand that the question is signed integer data type. So what is signed? So total, the data type is 16-bit wide. Okay, data type is 16-bit wide. So when I say signed integers, the 16th bit will be signed bit. Okay, the 16th bit will indicate whether your number is positive or negative. That is, if the 16th bit is 1, your number is negative. If 16th bit is 0, the number is positive. That means your 16th bit is exclusively for deciding whether your number is positive or negative. So what is remaining now? Only 15 bits. So 15 bits will give you idea of what is your number. So total, how many digits are possible? 2 power 15. So how much is 2 power 15? So 2 power 15 is 32,768. Correct? 32,000. But you have both positive number and negative number. So total 65,500 is the value. Now you have both positive and negative value. Okay. So you have to distribute that total value between negative number and positive number. So I start it from minus 32,768. Then I get 0 in between. So you can see here, this is 68 on the negative side, but here I have only till 67. That is because in between I have 0. Okay, you add this to, it's approximately 65k. So 2 power 15 is 65k. You can use your calculator to find the exact value. So next question is, the port used for transmission of serial data is, again this question is based on the pin diagram of 8051. So answer is P3.1, that is first pin of port 3. Now in serial data transfer, which will be the first bit transmitted? This is a common question. Whether it is MSB, that is most significant bit, LSB, least significant bit, or whether it depends upon protocol, because there are so many serial communication protocols, or whether it depends on type of serial communication, because in serial communications you have synchronous, asynchronous, again synchronous divided, asynchronous divided. So based on that, I will not go in detail, but you should know that serial data communications are classified based on protocols as well as based on the way it communicates. So whether the first bit transmitted depends upon all that, or can I say directly MSB or LSB is the question. So answer is LSB, that is least significant bit. Okay. So since 8051 data type is 8-bit, so you will have an 8-bit number. Okay. So whenever you transfer directly a serial data of 8-bit wide, the least significant bit will transfer first, followed by the next bit, that is bit 1, because bit 0 is LSB, that will go out, then bit 1, then bit 2, in that order. This is very important to remember. Then coming to interrupts of 8051, this is a common question. The common question is, what is the correct order of priority? So for that, you should know there are how many interrupts in 8051. So here answer is C. Okay, C says EX0. EX0 stands for external interrupt 0. T0 stands for timer 0 interrupt. EX1 stands for external interrupt 1. T1 stands for timer 1 interrupt. And TXD and RXD stands for serial interrupts. Okay, so this is 8051's its own way of ranking. Okay, you cannot ask why it is ranked so. Okay, there are reasons, but it's like asking why sun rises in the east. Okay, a question similar to that. So you have to remember this one. So next question is based on addresses. Okay, you should be able to remember addresses of the ports basically, or addresses of special function registers. So here the question is, the instruction set bit 86H, right, 86H belongs to which of this, or set bit 86H is similar to which instruction is the question. So when I use set bit, that is SETB, I understand that, or I should understand that this 86H is single bit, 1 bit value. Why? Because set bit can set only 1 bit. So it will set this bit, in the sense it will make this content 1. So I should understand that 86H is not my actual address 8 bit wide 86H. It is indicating 1 bit data, okay, or 1 bit address. So for answering this, you should know that ATH is address of port 0 and ATH is obviously 8 bit wide. Okay, so you have MSB, okay, the 7th bit here, which is nothing but P.7, I call it. Then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0. So this is my P.0. Okay, so if you number it, okay, inside this, how I number this is bit addressable space ATH, bit addressable space AT1H, bit addressable space AT2H. That way P.06 will be bit addressable space 86H. So answer here is option A. Okay. So next question is, you have to indicate which is not bit addressable register. So when we talk about, in the previous question, when we talked about bit addressability, it is necessary for you to remember which are the registers in 8051 that is bit addressable. Bit addressable means there is no need to copy or move the entire 8 bit together. You can go to that register and pick maybe first 4 bits, or pick maybe first bit only, pick maybe 6th bit only. So that provision is given by 8051. So which are the registers which supports it? You should know to answer such kind of questions. So here you have accumulator, B register, R4 register and program status word as options. So the answer will be C, because general purpose registers are not bit addressable registers. That you have to remember, because an internal RAM structure, the initial 32 bits, that is R0 to R7, 4 register banks, right? So those area is not bit addressable, it is byte addressable. You have to move the entire register together, like move A, R0, add A, R0. So entire 8 bit inside R0 will be moved or computed together. They cannot be separated bit by bit. So next question is, move DPTR, hash 4521H is an example of which addressing mode? Okay, so it's very easy when you have this pound sign, or we generally colloquially say hash sign or pound sign. Whenever we find pound sign, we directly go to this addressing mode, right? Immediate addressing mode. The meaning of this is DPTR is 16 bits wide register, and this is 16 bit, right? 4 is 0100, 5 is 0101. That way the total we have 16 bits here. So 16 bit content is moved to 16 bit register. So you have a pound sign here. So immediately, so it's immediate addressing mode. So you have to remember that immediate addressing mode is always prefixed with, okay, your source will be prefixed with pound sign. Next question is add A comma R7 is an example of which addressing mode. So here, since both source and destination are registers, as you can see here, R7 is also a general purpose register, A is a special function register, or we can say commonly used register or most used register. So accumulator is also a register, R7 is also a register. So this is directly pointing you to the answer, right? Register addressing mode. Sometimes you will get questions like this, okay, where you will be thinking too much, but the answer will be very straightforward. So keep your mind ready for such questions also. Always don't think too much on questions. So next is the instruction move P1 comma A is same as which instruction. So it is similar to 3-4 questions back, right, which we have seen for P0. So this question is checking whether you remember the address of P1. So P0 is 80H. So P1 will be immediate next, that is 90H. So here answer is C, okay, because the memory address of port 1 is 90H. Next question again checks your memory of, okay, address, whether you know the addresses of special function register. So the question is address of PSW register. So what would be the address of PSW register? You have to remember, there is no better explanation for this from my side. You try to remember the addresses of these registers. So the address of PSW is 0D0H. Now there is a little bit computation. Okay, you can have questions for your entrance exam related to, okay, simple or computations which require 1 or 2 steps. So here is one such question. You have move A comma hash 17H followed by add A comma hash 28H. So both are immediate addressing modes. So 17H will be immediately moved to accumulator, and 28H also will be immediately moved to 28H will be added with that content in the accumulator, and accumulator will be updated with the result. So initially what I have in accumulator I will have 17H. So in binary that is nothing but 001 011, right? This is 17H. I have this in accumulator. Next I am saying add this number with 28H and update accumulator. So after the execution of this instruction, let us see what will be the content of accumulator. So the content of accumulator should be changed like this, because it should be added with 17 with 28. So this is 2 and this is 8. So add with this 1 plus 0 1 plus 1 0 0. So this will be the content of accumulator. So what is this content? This is 3 and this is F. So answer is B, 3FH. Okay. So when I write binary, I remember, okay, I hope those who are watching this video knows how to write the binary representation directly from the hexadecimal, okay, because it is based on binary weightage 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. So if I want to write 4, then 2 power 2 is 4. So there I put 1. So already 4 is done. So remaining portions will be 0. Now if I want to write 5, then 4 plus 1 is 5. So this will be 0. 4 will be 1. That is 2 power 2 will be 1. And 2 power 0 is 1, right? 2 power 0 is 1. So this also will be 1. So that will give me 5. Okay, just to have a feel of it. Okay, if you clearly don't know, if you have by hearted binary numbers. Okay. So next question is, in 8051, minus 57 will be represented as. What is this? So negative decimal number, how it is represented in 8051? So we know that in 8051 usually deals with hexadecimal numbers. But my question is minus 56. 56 is in decimal. So first step is you should be able to convert 56 decimal to its equivalent hexadecimal. Okay, I hope, okay, by hoping that you know how to convert it. I'll directly give you the answer. So here answer will be C, and I'll explain you how to get that. So the hexadecimal equivalent of decimal 56 is 38H. Okay, but what I need is negative 56. This is hexadecimal equivalent of 56, but what I need is negative 56. So negative 56 is nothing but 2's complement of 38H. So if you find 2's complement of any number, you will get negative of that number, right? So you have to find 2's complement of 38H. So 38H is nothing but 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. This is 38H. Agree? Now find 1's complement first. So how to write 1's complement? Just complement. Make 0 as 1, 0 as 1, 1 as 0, 1 as 0, 1 as 0, 1, 1, 1. So this is 1's complement. Then how to find 2's complement? Add 1 to this result. Right? That will give you 2's complement. So 1 plus 1 is 0 with carry 1. Then 1 plus 1, 0. Right? 1 plus 1 is 0, carry 1. Then this 1 and 1 is 0 with carry 1. Then again this 1 plus 1 is 0 with carry 1. Then this 1 plus 0 is 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So this is okay. So what is 1100? C. What is 1008? So you get it as C8. Answer is C8. Getting? Okay. So next question is a tricky question. You need to tell me XORing a number with itself will be what? Okay, XORing, because XOR is an instruction, logic instruction present in 8051. So that's why this question comes here. This is usually a question related to digital system design or logic design. So if you XOR a number with itself, what you will get in 8051? Options are interesting. You can get the same number. Okay, you may get any number, in the sense you get a new number. You will always get 1. You will always get 0. These are the options. So any guesses? So if you consider single bit XOR operation truth table, okay, then 0 and 0 is what? 0 and 1 is what? 1 and 0 is what? And 1 and 1 is what? This you should know. Okay, this is basic XOR truth table. So 0 and 0 will be 0, 0 and 1 will be 1, 1 0 will be 1, 1 1 will be 0. So this indicates that whenever the inputs are same, okay, these are single bit inputs, you name it as AB and you name this as output Y. So whenever the inputs are same, see here 0 and 0, your output will be 0, and 1 and 1, your output will be 0. So it doesn't matter in microcontroller or in digital system design, wherever you go around the world, if you XOR same numbers, then you are going to get 0. So the answer is D, that is 0. So next is a very simple question. Since you are experts in pin packages, you can easily answer this question, right? How many pins make 8051? So a microcontroller is basically a DIP. We call it as DIP, that is dual inline pin package. Okay, dual inline pin package, where you have pins on both sides, equal number of pins on both sides. So here you have 20 pins, on the other side also you have 20 pins. So total you have 40 pins in 8051. So this diagram will help you to remember two things. You will know how the pins are distributed, and you should know, because this can also be a question. Okay, dual inline package, DIP. Next is after reset, SP stands for stack pointer. Stack pointer will be initialized to which address is the question. So again, this is very basics. So you should be knowing that answer will be B. That is, whenever you reset microcontroller, your stack pointer will be by default pointing to 07H of internal RAM address. Next question is a general question. What is the address range of special function register in 8051? From where to where special function register lies in RAM. Okay, so far we have discussed so many questions. We have seen that P0, right? Port 0 address is ATH, right? So special function register basically starts from there, ATH. So the now confusion is whether the option it is C or D. Okay, so you have to be very thorough with the internal RAM structure so that you can easily find that answer is D, because FFH is the maximum address which you can find in internal RAM. So from 80H to the end of the space you have special function registers, and there are many vacant spaces also there. Okay, so please go through internal RAM structure. Next question is again coming to interrupt. This I have picked. Okay, we have already discussed this. This I have picked because this was once asked question. So in 8051, which interrupt has highest priority? So we have seen that answer is C, right? Out of these given, okay, out of these given, that is there. Okay, that is a little tricky here. Okay, IE1 is given, TF0 is given, IE0 is given, and TF1 is given. In the sense, external interrupt. Okay, IE stands for external interrupt. Okay, basically it is interrupt external 0, interrupt external 1, timer overflow 0, timer overflow. Okay, so out of this, as we discussed earlier, IE0 will be most prior. That is external interrupt 0 will be most prior. Next question is regarding serial port interrupt. Serial port interrupt is generated if which bits are set. Okay, whether it is IE1, whether it is RI and IE, whether it is IP and TI, whether it is RI and TI. Okay, RI TI stands for receive interrupt and transmit interrupt. So serial port is directly dealing with receive interrupt and transmit interrupt, receiving and transmitting, right, serially. So answer is D. Okay, so whenever a data byte is received, means when I finish receiving data in serial communication, the receive interrupt will go to 1 automatically. Okay, and this RI and TI you will find it in SCON register. SCON stands for serial control register. Okay, I call it SCON, okay, or SCON, whatever it is. So it is known as serial control register. So this RI and TI you will find inside that register. And whenever you are going for serial communication, if you are receiving, okay, once you finish receiving data, RI will become automatically 1. And whenever you finish receiving transmitting data serially, TI will automatically go to 1. And this can be used as an interrupt, serial interrupt. Which general purpose register hold 8-bit divisor and store the remainder? Okay, especially for division operation. So this question is basically looking at your knowledge or deep knowledge on instruction, each instruction. Okay, so here the question is on DIV AB. Okay, division operation. So division operation is in 8051, division operation is written as DIV AB together, right? No A comma B. Okay, it is division space AB. So here, but question is, which register is holding 8-bit divisor? So out of these two registers, which will hold the divisor? So answer is B. Option B, and answer itself is B. That is because whenever you divide two numbers, accumulator will hold the quotient and remainder, okay, or initially B will have the divisor, and after the operation B will have remainder. Okay. So how many registers can be utilized to write the program? Effective selection of register bank in program status word. This we have already discussed, right? We have RS0, RS1. So by selecting 00, 01, 10, 11, how many registers you can use? So one register bank is 8 registers. Is it not? So if you use 00, okay. So if you use 00, then first register bank will be selected 01, 10, 11. So each time when you do, 8 bits are selected. Is it not? So total you can select 4 times. 4 times. So 4 into 8 is 32. Next question is, which is the only register without internal on-chip RAM address? So we were talking about remembering addresses of special function registers, right? So you have to remember this also. There is a register, okay, existing which does not have any address. So which is that? DPTR, okay, DPTR has some address. Timer, yes, timers have some address. Stack pointer, yeah, stack pointer always points to 07H, right, by default. So answer is program counter. What does program counter do? We have already discussed, right? Program counter hold the address of others and it itself doesn't have any address. That's interesting, right? Program counter is used to hold the address of next instruction to be executed. And remember, it just holds the address of the other fellows. By itself, it doesn't have any address. Easy to remember that way. Okay. So next question, which flag represent least significant bit and most significant bit of program status word? So I am continuously, rigorously discussing program status word because you can have good number of questions or at least one question from program status word. So program status word structure we have already discussed. So you can directly say the answer is A, right? Because the parity flag is LSB and carry flag is MSB. Which among below stated registers does not belong to category of special function registers? This is continuation of 37th question, right? Okay, so see here tcon and tmod has some addresses and that address is between ATH and FFH. So that also we discussed. Special function registers have addresses between 80H and FFH. So tcon and tmod are special function register having addresses between that. TH0 and TL0 are nothing but timers which is having addresses between that. P0 and P1 are port 0 and port 1 obviously having addresses between that. Now what about stack pointer and program counter? Just now we discussed program counter does not have address and stack pointer always point to 07H. And stack pointer is not in the region of 80H to FFH. So it is not a special function register. Answer is D. This is how you should be able to connect with questions and remember the answers. Okay, coming back to serial communication. What is the required baud rate? So we had a question on baud rate, right? What is a baud rate? Baud rate was bits per second, right? So how many bits per second 8051 can handle is the question. How many bits per second 8051 can transfer serially? So answer is 9600. There is little bit of computation here. Okay, so you can go through this explanation. The crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. So the system frequency is 12 machine cycle less than this. So that will become 921.6 kilohertz. And when you feed the timer, this is further divided by 32. So your source for timer is only 28,800 hertz. Okay. So the baud rate is 28,800 divided by 3. So which is only 9,600 hertz. So hertz is nothing but bits per second. Okay. So 9600 is the baud rate. What is the counting rate of a machine cycle in correlation to oscillator frequency for timers? This is a continuation of the previous question. So your actual frequency will be divided by 12. Okay. So answer is B. Which special function register play a vital role in timer counter mode selection process by allocating the bits in it? What does it mean? Out of these many registers, T mode, timer mode, tcon, that is timer control, serial control and power control. Okay. So usually students confuse the name of this. Since this is serial control, this is not parallel control. This is serial control register and pcon is power control register. Okay. So T mode is timer mode control, timer mode register and tcon is timer control register. My question is, out of these many SFRs, which play a vital role, important role in timer counter mode selection process? So in the question itself, mode selection comes. So explicitly the answer points to T mode. Answer is A. That's because to remember the structure of T mode register. So here you have M1, M0. Here you have M1, M0. Okay. Timer 0 and timer 1 not. So M0, M1 decides the mode 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Right. So if 0, 0, mode 0, 1, mode 1. Okay, so mode 2. So auto reload mode we have discussed, which is mode 2. So who selects this? T mode register. And here C bar T indicates counter bar timer operation, and gate is used for indicating whether timer is software timer or hardware timer, whether the delay is given internally or externally. Okay, that is decided by gate. So it's better to study in detail address of T mode register, structure of T mode register before attending your exam. Next question is based on timer control. Which bit must be set in timer control register in order to start timer 0? So start timer 0 or timer 1. Okay, in any mode. This is specific question. So in generally, to start the timer in any mode, any timer, okay, timer 0 or timer 1, TR is used. TR stands for timer run. Okay, here TR stands for timer run. So timer run 0 is for timer 0. So here answer is A. TF0 stands for timer overflow of timer 0. Okay, these are related to interrupts. Okay, so this is timer 0 interrupt enable. Okay, interrupt enable of timer 0, and this is timer, okay, interrupt of timer 0. So these are related with interrupts. So here which bit should be set? So these things will be set after the operation. All this is after the operation. Okay, so this is before the operation, timer run. Okay, so before attending the exam, it is necessary to study the structure of T-count register in detail and what does each bit do in T-count register. Next question is straightforward. PSEN is used to access what? What does PSEN stands for? Yeah, program store enable, right? It is not program status enable. Okay, few students say that way, or few textbooks also say that way, but it's basically program store enable. Okay, so you are going to store the program externally, that is the meaning. Okay, so this pin in 8051 is enabled to use external memory. So the answer here is external ROM. Okay, external read only memory. Answer is B. Okay, it is program store enable pin. Next question is again straightforward. Swap instruction works with which register? It's well known that swap instruction works only with A register, accumulator. Okay, so the answer is B. So what does it do? The functionality of swap is it interchanges lower nibble with upper nibble, right? Inside. When 8051 receives 8-bit data and places in SBUF, SBUF stands for serial buffer register, which flag will be set? That's a question. So there is a flag used here. Okay, flag which tells me that, okay, I have kept my data in serial buffer register. You raise a flag. If flag is raised, okay, there is data in SBUF register. So question is which flag will be raised? Okay, answer is A. Okay, which is RI stands for receive interrupt. Okay, so I have already received data. So receive interrupt will become 1. So that is the explanation. Okay. Next one. The content of accumulator. Okay, little bit of computation again. The content of accumulator after this operation will be. So this is checking your logical ability. Okay, you have to AND. What you have to AND? This content, that is 0BH, you have to AND with 2CH. And you can see here pound sign. So this is immediate. 0BH is moved to accumulator and that value is directly ANDed with 2CH. Okay, so the answer will be C. So explanation is directly given here. You have to AND these values with these values. Okay, 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 is ANDed with, dotted with 0 0 1 0 1 1 0 0. That is nothing but 2C. Okay, 2CH. So 1 dot 0 is 0, 1 dot 0 is 0, 0 dot 1 is 0, 1 dot 1 is 1, 0 0 0 0. So the answer is 0 0 1 0. So they are given the answer in binary. If they are given the answer in hexadecimal, this would look like 0AH. All the interrupts can be disabled with following single instruction. So this is about interrupt enable register. Okay. So which single instruction will help you to disable, okay, all the interruption at once? So the answer is B, because the 7th bit or MSB of interrupt enable register, that is IE register, okay, is EA bit. Okay. So if this is 1, then all the interrupts will be enabled and 8051 will decide which has priority. And if I clear this, if I make this directly 0, that is clear IE.7 means EA bit will become 0. If it is 0, the meaning is all the interrupts will be disabled. Okay. So this is about IE register. It is MSB of IE register. So before attending the exam, it is not very necessary to know IE register, but it's very necessary to know this question or this answer or this particular bit. To transfer a byte of data serially, first it should place it in which register is the question. So already we have discussed in 47th question. So whenever you go for serial communication, receive or transmit, both, you will keep the data first in serial buffer register, SBUF register. It is buffer register because it is a temporary storage. Okay. So serial buffer register because temporary storage register is used for serial communication only. So that's why this is the name serial buffer register. So answer is B, serial buffer register. Okay. So serial buffer register act as temporary storage register for serial communication. Remember this. Okay. So my last question. You can have such hundreds of questions. Okay. But I have picked most important or most repeated or the questions which have more chances of appearing in competitive exams. Okay. So the last question is, when the reset pin is activated, 8051 jumps to which address location? So we are resetting it. Okay. We are resetting the microcontroller to finish my presentation. So when the reset pin is activated, 8051 jumps to which address? Okay, it's well known. It's a 0. But you should not reset yourself. Please don't go to 000 level. Okay. I want you to repeatedly watch this video. Okay. Make use of this video. Go through the questions one by one again and again. Okay. And listen to my instructions on to highlight which topics. Okay. I definitely feel these many questions will aid you. Okay. Your DCET, particularly this topic, that is microcontroller topic. I think you have 8 to 14 questions on microcontroller, and I hope these many questions will help you to score good in your DCET. Okay. So thank you. All the best.